welcome to the third and last NL Talk on Green Wednesday. Today we're sitting here with Monique Lempers from Fairphone. Yeah. And Fairphone is since 2013 producing the fairest phone worldwide. Can we say
worldwide.
That? Worldwide, the fairest phone. You recently launched the Fairphone 5. We're not going to talk about the Fairphone 5, but we're going to talk about a very specific part of the Fairphone, namely the battery. So can you please tell us a little bit more on why we're talking specifically about a battery?
Well, first of all, I mean, the battery is a really important component of the device. Obviously, without a battery, you can't use the device. You would be amazed if you knew how many people actually swap a phone because it's not functioning that well anymore because of the downgrading of the battery. So a battery downgrades after 2 years to 80 or 70% of its functionality. And that you can really, you can notice that in your experience, what you have in your device experience.
I think probably everybody experiences, because if you have to charge your phone before the end of the day, it becomes quite annoying.
Yeah. So that, and you need to charge more often, but it even can also impact the speed of your phone. And normally it is really difficult when you have a battery that is downgraded. What do you do with your device? You can bring it to maybe a repair center if you know it is your battery to start with, but then it can be quite costly to have it repaired. And with us, it is very easy to swap your battery, right? You can just in 15 seconds actually get from your current battery to a new battery. You just take off the back, put in a new battery, and then you have again a device that is functioning 100%. So, and that is critical, because at the end of the day, to make a device more sustainable, you need to stretch the lifetime, the user time of that device, especially with a smartphone, where 80% of the CO2 footprint comes from production phase. So meaning that if you buy a new phone, which had to be produced again, you double your footprint, right? Your CO2 footprint. And if you use your current device twice as long, you lower your footprint with half. So therefore, battery is crucial. That is one reason. Another reason why the battery is so critical is because in our current transition to a green economy, we need a lot of batteries. Look at the electrical vehicles, right? The battery is critical for that. It is moving from fossil fuel to, in essence, mineral fuels, because a battery requires a lot of cobalt, a lot of lithium, a lot of nickel. And the demand for that is increasing incredibly. And we want to make sure that those materials are also produced sustainably.
Yeah, because you've called this specifically a fair battery.
Exactly.
So what makes this battery fairer than all the other batteries that are out there?
Yeah, that is because in every aspect of circularity, we have made the fairest choices you can make. And we've also really driven our supply chain to make the supply chain more fair. And it starts, of course, with the materials. So our battery, and I can go a bit more into detail. You see, the first left box, it sums up all the materials that we use in our battery. Are 100% certified for lithium, 100% certified.
And what does certified means? Because of course we can put a stamp on everything. So what does it mean?
It means a different thing depending on the material, because not for every material you have the same certification. But it means that for lithium, for example, that the mines where it comes from have the most strict, they live up to the most strict criteria when it comes to environmental and social compliance. There are limited mines in the world that have this. Only, I think, 2 at the moment, lithium mines. And we have pushed our supply chain to source from them. That is an example. But we also have cobalt that comes from ferrous sources and partially recycled as well. And we have other materials which are listed here that are either fair mined or recycled. Yeah, and that is one part, of course. But then we also have the conditions in our factory. Where the battery is produced. They live up to the highest standards when it comes to social circumstances, when it comes to...
And that has to do, for example, with equal pay, or where do I have to think of when it comes to social standards?
Yeah, that is even on top of it. So we first make sure that on the like basic health and safety standards, that the factory lives up to the highest standards out there. Also, when it comes to, for example, recruitment of your staff, it's quite. We probably all have heard about the Uyghurs issue. So you need to make sure that your factory has a really strict and good recruitment process where you don't have any even linked to slave labor, right? So all those type of standards are translated to the SA 8000 certification that we have.
And this, of course, has to do a lot with transparency.
Yeah.
So can you really find the transparency in the market to really source from the mines all the way up to the halffabrikaat, and I don't know what the word is, and then to finally make ending up in your battery? How do you trace that entire chain?
Well, you can do that, but it is if you take the whole phone, it is super complicated because there's so many suppliers and sub-supply chains. But therefore, we also now we started to focus now on the battery, but we also are starting to do the same. What we're doing here. With our camera, with our speaker, and we really go and trace our supply chain to where does it come from. There's a nice picture, I think, here, and we're super transparent on what does then the supply chain of the battery looks like, starting with the mine site, the refiner, the processor, until the manufacturer. And that is how we can really increase the compliance and the sustainability throughout the whole supply chain, because we know who is in there, and we go all the way up to the mine to ensure the highest standards.
So basically, it's a sort of no-brainer that this is the way where we should go.
Of course,
This is what we want. This is how it should be done. What is needed to make this a standard in the market? Because you've now proven it can be done. So how do you move that forward?
Yeah, well, we need the commitment of the manufacturers to do this, and it is, to be honest, it is not there necessarily. There's not. I mean, for us, it is our core mission and our core USP, right? That we are a fair phone, the fairest phone. Other manufacturers are still mainly driven by risk compliance or risk management. So they will do it more from a managing their reputation point of view, or from a regulatory driver. And of course, now you have more and more some regulation coming up in Europe, like the Eco Design Directive, where you need to start working on the longevity of your device. But as a key driver, it is not there necessarily in the industry, which is a shame. And I think, how do we get there? We will get there. I'm confident of that, because you can see already, right, that the amount of impact investors are increasing. You can see that more and more initiatives are out there to calculate the true price. Regulation is increasing. So from my point of view, if you are not working on it yet as a smartphone manufacturer, you're just starting to lag behind, and it will backfire on you in a later stage, because the world is moving towards quantifying your impact on environment and on people.
And would it be thinkable that, for example, your Fair battery is going to set a standard, and maybe it's going to be used in all the Fairphones that are sort of presented here today? Is that a possible direction?
Yeah, I think it is. Well, I mean, we know, and that is without exaggerating, I think, we know already that we have been an inspiring force. And we know that people are reading, also the sustainability people from other bigger companies are reading our impact reports. We know that our standards are guidance. And that is what we want to see. Yeah.
Good. So we've now seen the supply chain all from the beginning, sort of, let's see, scope 3 upstream.
Yeah.
And what is happening at Fairphone if you look at the downstream part? So what happens when the battery is still end of life? After how many years will that be, the new Fair battery?
No, well, I mean, every battery in the industry downgrades after 2 to 3 years, right? But then we take it back, of course. So you can always, and that is also the nice thing, you can send back only your battery, buy a new battery, and we can take that back and send it for proper recycling, so that we can reuse again the cobalt that is in there.
So basically you have a kind of concept of battery as a service, so to speak.
Module as a service,
Module as a
including the battery. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and that is the also the benefit of modularity, that you can work with reusing and even recycling and upgrading modules, and you don't need to throw away a whole device for that or recycle a whole device for that, because that also costs energy. Yeah.
So today here we're in Barcelona at the Mobile World Conference. Basically, the entire mobile world is here. What are your dream partners to work with?
Well, I mean, we work already a lot with operators, obviously, because they are reselling and selling our device together with subscriptions and in their shops. And what we're trying to do is really to find together the right proposition to convince even more people to buy a phone that really cares about planet and people, and we need the support of operators for that, and we're happy to see that more and more. So I think yesterday was also announced that it was done already earlier, but that many operators, as part of the GSMA, have committed to net zero by 2040. And that will also help our proposition, of course, to put more force behind our device in their companies, to put it on the market. Yeah.
So the operators are a very important step to move forward. Yeah. And to round up this discussion, there's so many people around here. What would be your call to action for them, to the visitors of the Mobile World Conference? What would be your message to them?
Well, my message would be there's so much stuff here that is being sold. Please reconsider, because before you buy new stuff, and just enjoy what you have. Try to enjoy it for as long as possible, and it will save you money, time, and it will save the planet.
Well, I think that's a very clear message, and it's quite appropriate if you look around here.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, thank you very much, Monique.
Yeah.
Please, a warm applause for Monique Lempers.